and welcome to our first maths session in this new topic. We finished money last week, and this week we are going to be looking at numbers again, particularly bonds of 10. So numbers, two numbers that will add together to make 10 all together. So bonds of 10. It's very important throughout the rest of your school career to remember your bonds of 10, because it will help you work out bigger numbers as you get further up the school years as well. So the very, very beginning year reception, to know your bonds of 10 is fantastic and will help you throughout the rest of your maths life. So we're talking about our bonds of 10 mainly this week, but we're also exploring numbers up to 100. Exploring is quite a nice word, so we're going to be looking at fun ways to go bigger with our numbers and explore what they might look like, those bigger numbers. So, excuse me, we are going to start this session with, just ate a cookie and I think it's gone down the wrong hole. We're going to start our session with our number mats. Obviously do this after our video and then you can pop it on Tapestry or show your adult. Number of the day for you, I think we should go with 13 or 23. Pick 13 or 23. We're getting so much bigger with our numbers now. Okay, so number of the day, 13 or 23. Let's pop that to one side. Now we're going to have a go at counting in twos to 40. So twos, we don't want to count every number if we're counting in twos. We are jumping over a number and going to the next number. So really we are adding on 2 every time we count. Let's use our 100 square to help us with this. Here it is. So our 100 square, counting in 2. So you can see if we start at 2, we would make 2 jumps to get to our next number of 4. So we're adding 2 every time we count. So we're going to start at 2 and we're going to count on 2 each time. So they'll all be odd or even numbers. They will all be even numbers. Numbers that you can halve exactly. And we're going to stop when we get to 40, down here. Are you ready? Let's go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, jump over 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. Now I did set you a challenge, I think it was last week, that to use your 100 square if you're able to write on them and colour in all the numbers that you count when you count in twos. And I wanted you to look at patterns. Now some of you have put this onto Tapestry that are in my class, and you found that all the ones that end in a 2, so you had all of this column coloured in, all of the ones that end in a 4 for when you're counting in twos, all of the ones that end in a 6, all of the ones that end in an 8, and all of the ones that end in a 0. You need all of those columns when you are counting in twos, starting from the number 2, okay? Or starting from an even number, should we say, as well, is important to point out. So yes, it certainly does show patterns when you start looking at 100 squares and discovering different things when you look at them. I'm going to whiz my board around now and we're going to look at the Days of the Week song. Don't want you to forget this element of time while we're mooching off looking at other topics. So we've got our 7 days of the week. Let's sing it with our claps at the end. There's Monday and there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday and there's Thursday, there's Friday and there's Saturday, and then there's Sunday. Days of the week, clap, clap. Days of the week, clap, clap. If I said today was Wednesday, and I asked you what day was yesterday, you would tell me yesterday was the day before, so it would be Tuesday. If I said today was Saturday, and I asked what was the day yesterday, you would look at the day before and you would say it was Friday. Now if today was Sunday, and I wanted to know what tomorrow would be, then you would jump forward once for tomorrow and you would tell me that it would be Monday. Excellent work on that. Let's put that over here. Right, next up on our agenda today, we are going to do a spot of estimating, okay? Now we're going to do it with tomatoes. Now, I want you to start asking you those usual questions when I show you the box of tomatoes about, does it look more than 5? Does it look less than 12? All these sort of questions I want you to ask yourself in your head before you write down or say out loud your estimate. Now, I also want you to start thinking of, very quickly, because you're only going to glance at it quickly, but could you maybe group them in 2s? And if you were to think about them in 2s, how many would there be? Things like that help you to estimate a bit quicker, okay? Because it's a bit about pace and being fast when you estimate. Not really fast, but just not long enough to sit there and actually count them. So here are the tomatoes in my pot. Don't count them, but think about if they were grouped in 2s, how many might I be able to count to if I was? But don't actually count them. Just think about these questions in your head. Are there more than 5? Are there less than 12? What would 12 look like in a pot? What would 5 look like in a pot? Write your estimate down on your board or say it out loud to the camera now. Pause me if I'm rushing you, but I'm going to count them out now, okay? They are attached to a lovely vine, but I'm going to count them out separately. I'm going to borrow one of these plates here that I'm going to use in a second for something else, okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 more than 7, 8, 1 more than 8, 9, 10. If you estimated 7, 8 or 9, fantastic. If you estimated 11, 12 or 13, brilliant. If you got 10, amazing. Now I've got my tomatoes here. We know that there are 10 tomatoes. I'm going to see if I can count backwards with those tomatoes and end up with 0 on my plate. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, it works counting backwards as well. Let's try counting them in 2s and make sure that there are 10 there as well. So I'm going to pick up 2 every time I put them on my plate, not 1, because I'm counting in 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, fantastic bit of counting, backwards, forwards and in 2s. Let's roll my tomatoes back into my lunchbox and put those over here. Right, now, the main part of our lesson today is talking about bonds of 10. 2 numbers that go together to make 10 all together. So if you added these 2 numbers together, they would make 10. And there are lots of different bonds of 10. So I'm going to teach you, first of all, a rhyme that could help you remember your bonds of 10. Now, I don't expect you to get this rhyme in your head straight away, and we have done this once before in my class, but it was near the beginning of the year, so it might have popped out of your memory. But if it's the first time, then don't expect to get it the first time, but we will keep saying it all week to help you. Now, with bonds of 10, this rhyme will help you, but also, what do we have that's really nearby to our bodies, very nearby, that there's also 10 of? We've got 10 toes, but they're in my shoes. It's a little harder to play with those, and sometimes there's a bit of sock fluff, so they're not the greatest thing to play with. What else do I have 10 of? 10 fingers. So my fingers are going to be really helpful this week with my bonds of 10, okay? And also this rhyme that I'm about to teach you now. So I'm going to show you the bonds that go together. When I say bonds, they bond together as friends, and the answer of the 2 of them bonded or added together will always make 10. Okay, that's why they are bonds of 10. So first of all, I have 0 and 10 are big strong men. So we're lifting our weights. 0 and 10 are big, strong men. I suppose we could say 0 and 10 are big, strong women. That would still rhyme. They don't have to have strong men, do we? 0 and 10, we'll stick with men though to make it easier, it fits in a bit better. 0 and 10 are big, strong men. 1 and 9 get along just fine. They're really good friends because they add up together to make 10. 1 and 9 get along just fine. 2 and 8 are always late, and I like to tap my arm like this, like I'm looking at the clock. This will help us remember the rhyme. So we tap our arm for that one, like we're looking at our clock. They're late. 2 and 8 are always late. So let's put our 2 and 8 down there. 3 and 7 don't make 11 because they make together 10. So they don't make 11, they make 10. 3 and 7. 4 and 6 are in the mix. So if you imagine they're going around in a mixing bowl, and you can do a bit of this mixing with your arms when you're saying it to yourself. So 4 and 6 are in the mix. And then last of all, I've got 5 and 5 like to jump and jive. Okay, you can jump yourself if you want to, and a bit of jiving with your arms like this and twisting on your foot if you want to, when it helps you remember the rhyme. But 5 and 5 like to jump and jive. Okay, because 5 and 5 make 10. 5 and 5 make 10. So these are your bonds of 10. And that rhyme we will chant at the beginning of every lesson this week to help us. But don't forget, if you can't remember the rhyme yet, 10 fingers will help with our bonds of 10 today, and all week in fact. So I have, to test our bonds of 10 here, 2 plates, okay? Plate number 1 and plate number 2. I'm going to put those on the table, and I also have a bowl here. We're not going to estimate these. I'm going to tell you exactly how many are in this bowl. There are 10 little doggy cookies, biscuits here, 10 of these little guys in my bowl. So we're not estimating here. There are definitely 10. Let me just count them out so you know I'm not telling a porky, I'm not lying, and it will definitely help you because we're working with our bonds of 10 today. So I've got 1, 2, these are rather cute, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've definitely got 10 biscuits. Oh look, they're in groups of 2. I could count in 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Because I've grouped them in 2s. There we are. So there are definitely 10 doggy biscuits here today. Okay. I'm going to put them back in my bowl. I will only ever have 10. So every question that we are working on today with the plates is based on there always being 10 all together, okay? Because we're doing bonds of 10, always being 10 as our all together answer, okay? When we've added the 2 numbers together, they're always going to make 10. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put some dog biscuits onto plate number 1, okay? And I'm going to count them out as I put them on because they're a little hard to see against the white plate. So I'm going to count them out as I put them on so we're all really clear how many are on plate 1. I want you to write your answer on your board or yell it out to the camera or show me with your fingers, okay, what the answer will be as to how many will go on to plate number 2 so that plate 1 and 2 added together will always make 10, okay? So make that a little bit clearer. Let's do one together to make it nice and clear for you. And I want you to use your fingers to help you with this because we have 10 fingers and the answer is always going to make 10 all together. So use those fingers, or if you think you know the rhyme quite well already, the rhyme might be able to help you. So for instance, I am going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, little cookies, dog cookies, on plate number 1. So there are 6 on plate number 1, okay? Now, I want to know what I would add to 6 to make 10. So what is 6's number bond buddy to 10? The number that adds to 6 to make 10 as the answer when they're added all together. So I could use my fingers. And I know there are 6 on plate 1. So if I put the 6 down that I've already got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another one off of my second hand, 6, right? So I've bent down, let's turn this around this way, it'll be a bit easier. I've bent down the 6 fingers that represent the 6 dogs already on that plate. Now, because I've got 10 fingers and because I want 10 dog biscuits all together on my 2 plates, I can imagine that every one of my fingers is a dog biscuit, okay? So if I've got 6 and I've put 6 down on plate 1, the amount of fingers that are left will be how many should be on plate 2 to make 10 in total, to be the number bond buddy to go with 6 to make 10 as your final answer all together. 6 and 4 should make 10, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put 4 on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see my bowl is empty, so I must have used the whole 10. Let's just work it out. I've got 6 here. I don't need to count those again because I know there's 6. I'm just going to count on. So then 1 more than 6. 6. 1 more is 7, 8, 9, 10. So 6 and 4 make 10. They are number bonds of 10. Now in the song, or in the chant, the rhyme, we worded it 4 and 6 are in the mix. So it will work any way round you do it. You could either have, put them this way round, 4 and 6 make 10, or if I move them round the other way, I haven't taken any biscuits away or added any more, I've just moved the numbers round the other way so a different number comes first. 6 and 4 make 10. So 4 and 6 make 10, or 6 and 4 make 10. No matter which way round you have the bonds of 10 numbers, they will still add up to 10. So it doesn't matter which way they are. So even though we say them a certain way in the chant, they could be any way and they will still make 10. Right, let's try that again now I've modelled it out for you. Let's empty my 10 biscuits back into my plate. I'm not adding any more. It's always 10 every time on this lesson. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dog biscuits on plate 1. 5 dog biscuits. I'm trying to make 10 in total, and I've just put 5 on plate number 1. Use your fingers at home, or the number bond chant if you know it already, but use your fingers. Just put 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on one plate. How many do we need to put on plate number 2 to make 10 altogether? Use your fingers to help you. I've just given you a massive clue. And you can either call out to the screen, write it on a board, or show me with your fingers. Pause the video too if you want to think about it for a bit. But I had 5 on this plate. So here's my 10 I want to make in total. I've got 5 on plate number 1. So on plate number 2 I must have to have 5 as well. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My bowl is empty, so I must have used all 10. 5 add 5. 5 add 5 altogether makes 10. 5 and 5 like to jump and jive. Now with 5 add 5, if I move them around, they're still 5 add 5. If I move them back, they're still 5 add 5. So that sentence can't be jiggled around to start with a different number because 5 and 5 are the same number. Okay? Right, put them back in my bowl. Let's do another one. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 on bowl number 1. So remember, we're trying to make 10. Show your 10 fingers to the camera or to your parents or to yourself. 10 fingers. There are 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 already on plate 1. Maybe you could fold those 3 fingers down and tell me how many fingers are left, because if you add 3 to the amount that you've got left, it would make 10, and there will be bonds of 10. Yell it out to the camera, write it on a board, show me with your fingers. We've got 3. What are we going to add to 3 to make 10 all together? How many biscuits are going on plate 2? I've got 3 here. Here are my 10 fingers. 1, 2, 3 are already on plate 1. So how many do I have to add to plate 2 to make 10 all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My bowl is empty, so I've used all 10. So 3 and 7 don't make 11 because they make 10. So 3 add 7 makes 10, or swap them round. 7 add 3 make 10. So although the chant starts with 3 and 7 don't make 11, you could swap them round for your bonds of 10. 7 and 3 still make 10. Okay, let's do another one on this lesson. We're going to tackle this again tomorrow, so I'm just going to do one more today. I'm going to put one little biscuit on plate number 1. What am I going to have to put on plate number 2 so that they add together to make 10 in total? So they are bonds of 10. 1. Got my 10 fingers to help me. I've got just 1. I don't think that one wants to bend down without taking the other one with it. Just 1 biscuit on plate 1. How many will I need to put on plate 2 to make 10 all together, to be bonds of 10? You could use the chant to help you. 1 and something, get along just fine, or use those fingers. We have 10 fingers, let's use those. So you might have paused it to have a little think, maybe to count your fingers so you could yell the answer out to the camera. But if I have my 10 fingers and I put 1 down, actually I'm going to go with my thumb, it's a bit easier. I'm going to put 1 down because there's 1 on plate 1, then this will be the answers to what should be on plate 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There should be 9 on plate number 2. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and my bowl is empty. I've used all 10. So we can say 1 and 9 equals 10. 1 and 9 get along just fine. Bonds of 10, they add together to make 10. So 1 and 9 make 10, or swap them over. 9 and 1 make 10. They are bonds of 10. Okay, so that was our first lesson this week. Oh, I'm going to have to adjust my camera. That was our first lesson this week on bonds of 10. I think you've probably done quite well on it, to be honest with you. I am going to ask you to do me a little challenge as well, okay? A bit of a stretch task. So I want you to have a 100 square ready. Okay. Now I printed this one off of the Twinkle website, and I think even if you haven't managed to get that free membership, if it's run out now, I'm not sure, because they were letting you have a free month on Twinkle for nothing, which is very generous of them. If not, then you can probably get 100 square off of there for without joining or subscribing anyway. Okay, so hopefully if you've got a printer at home you can do your 100 square. If not, you might have to write one out, but that's excellent practice as well. Your challenge that I want you to do is to colour in all of the numbers on your 100 square where the 2 digits add up together to make 10. Okay, now let me show you what I mean, because that doesn't sound completely clear straight away. Let's move my biscuits out of the way. So, what I mean is that you won't want any of the single digit numbers because they have another number to add to. so this might be a little bit blurry, I hope not. So we are going to look at numbers that when you add the first number to the second number, do they make 10? This will help you get used to your bonds of 10 knowledge as well. So I'm going to start with the teen numbers. 11, it's a 1 and a 1, that doesn't make 10. 12 is a 1 and a 2, that doesn't make 10, that makes 3. Let me move further up my teen numbers. What about 19? It's a 1 first and then a 9. If I did 1, add 9, 1 and 9 get along just fine, I can colour in my number 19. Let me put it down while I colour it in. Okay. So 19, 1 and 9 that make up the number 19 add together to make 10. What about if I tried on the next row? Let's go with 28, a 2 first and then an 8. 2 and 8 are always late. 2 and 8 added together make 10. So I'm going to colour in the number 28. Okay, and then I want you to carry on for me as this stretch task of your 100 square. Go through the 100 square and look for other numbers where the 2 digits add together to make 10. And then see if it's making a pattern on your 100 square, and can you describe that pattern? So if you're in my class, pop your description on Twinkle or a nice video of yourself describing it. If you're not in my class, then describe it to an adult. It's very important to be able to use words and describe the pattern you have found. So tell an adult who you're with what you've discovered about the pattern on the 100 square when you colour in all the numbers where the 2 digits add up to make 10. Use your bonds of 10 chant to help you, or your fingers to help you. So that's your stretch task for today, and I will see you tomorrow for a second session of maths and looking at our bonds of 10 and exploring numbers within 100. Bye-bye.